Welcome to Monday Morning Dharma on December 16th. Why don't we go ahead and settle in for some meditation? As you settle in for some meditation this morning, please feel free to use as your role model the mountain. Mountain is balanced, grounded, and stable with ancient awareness. Silent, still, ancient. Tranquil. Please gently draw your awareness inside of your body and become aware of sensations. These sensations may start in your hands and your feet in the form of a tingling, perhaps a lightness, perhaps a heaviness, perhaps a pulsation. No analysis is necessary. There's nothing to figure out. Just be the silent observer of these sensations and allow a more tranquil, awakened state of awareness to emerge. Deep within the interior of the Gila wilderness, there is a mountain that has never been observed by human eyes. You can know that day after day, year after year, this mountain simply observes silently. Rain may fall on the mountain or not. The wind may blow. The sun may shine. Pine cones may appear on the branches of a nearby tree, fall to the ground, and then start to decompose. The mountain simply observes silently. No praise, no blame, no hope, no fear, no expectation. Your own awakening may not occur for several centuries. It may occur later this morning. It may occur somewhere in between. For now, simply observe sensations within your own body mountain. Please gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of your physical body and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of your physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths and become aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of clouds, of blue sky beyond the clouds, of outer space beyond the blue sky. We dedicate all of the merit, all of the positive energy from this morning's meditation to world peace. May all beings without exception soon come to enjoy a state of perfect, complete fearlessness. May all beings without exception be completely free from all forms of emotional and physical suffering. May all beings without exception be happy, peaceful, contented, and free. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Thank you, and welcome back. So we are still in the first chapter of In Love with the World, the book that we're following, the book written by Yangi Mingyur. And Yangi Mingyur has covered a lot of ground in this first chapter. You know, we've learned through this text a number of different practices already. You'll remember, practices of training the mind, that is, remember one is, who are you? That's the name of the first chapter. Who are you? Who is this entity that we regard as me? And by extension, what are these phenomena that we regard as mine? Me and mine, kind of a treacherous path that we head down sometimes, and I'll explain why that is at another time. We have been introduced to the practice of adding wood to the fire. Remember adding wood to the fire? Putting ourselves voluntarily into situations that might create some discomfort for us, as a means of transforming those situations, coming to appreciate those situations for what they are, perhaps treat it as an accelerated path toward developing equanimity. Yange Mingyur goes on with regard to adding wood to the fire to talk about meditation practices that we can use while we are in the fire, so to speak, to help us transform those situations, to help us develop equanimity. Anyways, I'm saying all of this to say that we've already covered a lot of material in the first chapter and have been introduced to a lot of different, very deep contemplations and Dharma practices to which we can apply ourselves. And most of us here are new to the book In Love with the World. Some of you have already read it and are rereading it. That's my case. Um, some of you are brand new to meditation and training the mind, and you might be thinking, wow, these are like already three practices, and the next one, still within chapter one, is going to be death and impermanence. It's like it would be understandable if some of us were experiencing like overwhelm, like we're 2 weeks into this book and I've already got four practices, like, or I'm going to have four practices. Like which one do I pick? How do I do them all? It it took me back, you guys. It took me back to mm, back. It had to have been 2001 when I had just moved to um, a Dharma center in a meditation center. It's basically a Buddhist college in San Diego. And it was a fairly large center. And they had all of these different practices that are called pujas, Pujas, pujas. And pujas are chanted prayers, basically, ritual chanted prayers. You sing and you recite prayers and yeah, like that. And there were a ton of different pujas, just tons of them with different areas of emphasis and different visualizations. And like I was like basically a freshman in my first semester at Buddhist college. And I was just I'm using the term Buddhist college loosely. It wasn't really a college, but that's kind of how I regarded it, right? My learning curve was vertical. Anyways, I was sort of like overwhelmed with all of these different practices and pujas and stuff. So I made up this little schedule of pujas that I was going to try and do every week. Like on Monday, I would do this one. On Tuesday, I would do this one, and on down like that. And I took it to my teacher and asked her, what she thought. Gentupa is her name. And asked her what she thought about it, and she was very gracious and accommodating and basically indulged me. And she said, "Oh yeah, yeah." She said, I think that's a good approach." She said, "I think that's fine." Even though it wasn't really an advisable approach to come up with this regimented schedule where I tried to do all of the different practices all at once and integrate them into my spiritual life. Maybe, maybe this is applicable to what some of you are experiencing as you're learning about these practices for the first time and maybe entering a meditation path for the first time. But when you move to a new community, you know, we don't say, okay, on Mondays, I'm going to go hang out at the bank and acquaint myself with the bank. And then Tuesday, I'm going to go to the grocery store and spend the day at the grocery store to become familiar with it. And after that, the park, and like that. No, it just sort of happens collectively, like in an unscripted way. You just sort of naturally, almost by osmosis, I'm not sure if I'm using that term correctly, but just through like exposure to it, you just naturally become familiar with this new environment, this new world. And I think that's the approach that we can take for those of us who are in fact wondering which practice should I do, which should I emphasize. You know, what Gentupa could have said to me, and I'm not saying she was wrong for not saying it, but what she could have said was, just relax, let it come to you. Just through exposure, you'll become familiar with it in a natural, organic way. And before you know it, you're going to be living it, like actualizing it in an authentic way. And I don't know, I'm just speaking from my experience. The list of doing the different pujas lasted about 3 days, and I realized this isn't the right way. Um, my suggestion to us who are new to this type of path, this type of meditation, maybe meditation at all, is to just be open to it. Maybe pick a practice, maybe pick like one thing you decide to focus on, like sewa, right? Sewa, tenderheartedness, warm-heartedness, right? It's with the heart that is open for us that informs our relationship to different practices, both spiritual and otherwise, right? Like if our heart is open and warm and tender, or at least we have the aspiration for it to be open and warm and tender, then that's going to inform every other practice that we do. You know, adding wood to the fire, who are you, impermanence, emptiness, equanimity, all the other things that we talk about. Yeah. So we had to pick one. I mean, it's up to you, of course. Can't go wrong with tenderheartedness and being aware of that. Like, and how do we do that? How do we make sewa like the foundation of our practice, the foundation that supports all of our other practices? It's really simple, just being aware of it, like maybe bringing your awareness to the region of your chest, not just when you're meditating, but through everything that you do in your life as much as you can. Like maybe when you leave one room and enter into another, let that be kind of a prompt for you to bring your awareness back to the region of your chest and your tenderheartedness. Yeah. You can kind of come up with your own little prompts, your own little ideas, but yeah, before we ventured into the waters of impermanence, which is the next area of practice that Yongey Mingyur is going to suggest in chapter number 1. I just wanted to offer that, it'll come before you even know it. Like an analogy that one of my very first teachers used was he called it a nautical example. He said, when you're on a seagoing ship and the ship changes course, the captain of the ship makes the decision to change the direction of the ship by 15 degrees. For a while, it seems like nothing has changed. Yeah. And like yeah. But after a while, you just realize, oh, we're going in a different direction now. Yeah. Kind of spiritual. I've found that spiritual insight, spiritual actualization kind of happens in a similar way. Not white knuckling. When is this going to take hold? When is this going to happen? It's just, yeah, being open to it and making it a priority and picking maybe one practice. Those seem like pretty good rules of thumb to prevent overwhelm and, yeah, unskillful application of effort, which I am an expert at. Thank you very much. Um, there, 9 o'clock. Happy Monday, you guys. Have a great week. Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome, Seamus. Bye, you guys.